Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Educators for Impact's first event. Thank you all for coming out and supporting us. My name is Elaine and I'm the CEO of Educators for Impact. And joining me today will be a team member of mine, Chris, who is our CMO. And today we are very fortunate to have a wonderful speaker, Hung Wei, join us to speak about finding your passion through community involvement and political science. So first, to quickly introduce our program, we are a platform created to bring together different people from different backgrounds and industries to share their thoughts about all things education related. We believe passionately in the power of education to influence students, parents, and future educators. You can find more information about us at educatorsforimpact.org. Besides Chris and myself, we have two other team members, Angelina and Vanessa, who are working with us to make this event possible. And now to give a proper introduction for our wonderful speaker, today we welcome Hung Wei. She is currently a Cupertino City Council member, and in the past, she served as a Fremont Union High School District School Board member and was the past FUHSD School Board president. She is also an active member of the Cupertino Rotary Club while serving as Rotary District 5170 membership chair and was the past Cupertino Rotary president. Now she also serves on multiple local nonprofit organizations such as Northwest YMCA, FUHSD Foundation, Asian American Parent Association, and EMQ Auxiliary Serving Uplift Family Services, as well as League of Women Voters of Cupertino Sunnyvale. She received her bachelor's degree from National Taiwan University, majoring in foreign languages and literature, and then went on to study at UCLA and earned a master's degree in teaching English and a second language. Over her stellar career, she has been recognized for many awards, including the U.S. President's Gold Volunteer Service Award, State of California Woman of the Year Award, and Citizen of the Year by Star Awards, to name a few. And now I will hand it off to Chris and our speaker. Chris will be asking her some questions to gain some more insight. If you guys have any questions yourselves, please type them into the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will try our best to get to them at the end.
Hi, Mrs. Wei.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful introduction, Elaine. Hi, Chris.
So how did you get into the political science field?
Okay, so actually my major is not political science. As Elaine said, I studied English literature and the language. And so I have a linguistic degree from UCLA and master's degree for teaching English as a second language. But I consider everything political is of the human heart. You know, when we say political, we think about social justice, we think about immigration, we think about economic development, we think about infrastructure for our city, for our country. We think about, our political stance in this world. Do we want peace or do we negotiate? So I do consider political science is the science of the human beings. So everything you do actually has something to do with it. Whether you're an engineer, you actually are in part of the political engine in, are you creating solars so that we can fight climate, we can protect the environment? Are you doing chips design so people can communicate? So when you talk about political science, I do believe it's a field that encompasses everything. So within political science, so I think the question may be, what do we do once we graduate from the political science department? Is that one of the questions that you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of students who graduate from that particular department actually can do anything. You can, if your passion is to do research on certain topics, socioeconomic topics or topics on whether climate action group, whether climate action is worth doing or how do we do it, you can find a job in a state senator or state assembly or a job in working for a political figure or for the Congress, what they would ask you to do is they will give you a topic to research because they get thousands of questions, thousands of things that they need to research. How about how to help people find jobs, how to take care of an immigrant who needs this kind of a service. Where is the legal ground for water, for preserving water in the valley? So all these topics, they will ask their staff to do research on. And you do broad research, you ask questions, and you make reports to your boss as to recommendations. What would be the best recommendation to do when this bill comes up, when that proposal is on the table? So that's a beginning part of being your political career. But a lot of people I know who work in a senator or a state assembly or Congress's office eventually have this passion to become a elected official themselves. So a lot of them start with working with in a political office and then work on the issues, get to know people, and establish their own beliefs, whether they believe more in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or no parties at all. And that's a choice. So that's just one career path. But another career path is actually a lot of them eventually work in the government. Government has a lot of political action offices, they need information officer. So it's very broad what you want to do. And eventually, if you get into a certain career, you might become a city manager eventually, because city manager knows all these things too. So the career is very broad. It depends on what your true passion is. Do you want to be a person who researches and advocates for certain beliefs, or do you want to become a political figure yourself and make that policy decision? When I say policy decision, you have to know that policy drives changes. For example, last month, Cupertino City Council passed a ordinances for single plastic usage. We're gonna eliminate that in the next 5 years and gradually. So what does that do politically, economically? It drives industry. That means a lot of industry who are making the current to-go boxes are going to be out of business very soon if every city, every state implements that. So if we want clean energy, that drives wind, that drives all the clean energy industries. So policy making drives industries and makes economic changes. So the consequences are very, very imminent, okay, and also very important. That's why being a policymaker really needs to take off all the scientific plus socioeconomic input and make that decision for the next 20 to 50 years. That drives industry, that drives where money goes, that drives where research goes. So it is political science is a very interesting field. If you're interested, I think as a high schooler, what you want to do is become an intern. So I do take interns. I have a couple of interns year round. In the summer, I take a couple more interns. When I take them, I don't give them busy work, like go help setting up this, go help. I give them 5 or 6 topics that Cupertino City is facing. I said, pick 1 or 2 that you're interested in, and then do research on that. I think one of them has finished a research on the LED lighting, that why are we having dark sky ordinances to protect the birds? How can we implement it? Does it have economic impact? Does it save energy? So he did research with our economic development officer and did research with our sustainability department and go out and interview different people and come back with a report to advise the council whether this is a good way, how much money you will save, or you're going to say spend more money, or what industry is going to drive, right? So if you're interested, start with looking into around you. Your school has policies. How do you recycle things in your school district, in your schools? How do you make sure your food is compost instead of going to garbage? So those are good things to do, study and take action. So there are many, many opportunities around you. Just look around and see what interests you.
I see. So what does your day-to-day schedule look like? So like apart from research and policy making, what other things would you do on a day-to-day basis?
I spend a lot of time on the computer. It's actually too much, okay? Because you have to clean your emails. I have maybe at least 1,000 emails come to me every day. If I don't clean up of them, I would accumulate this too much. But the day-to-day schedule, first priority is to take care of yourself. You want to sleep well, you want to have time, even with my busy schedule. Okay, so I do, my first priority is with the city because I'm a Cupertino City Council member. I am elected to volunteer to take care of the city. On a broader point, to make sure the economics of the city is healthy physically, the city's policies are reflects what the residents needs, and make sure the residents get services and also housing, transportation, everything, right? So it comes a lot. However, we have great staff that have expertise. So when there are questions, we take staff's recommendation and input, do our research. So my first priority is my city business. And then my other nonprofit, I'm a big Rotarian. This is how I see Rotary. It could be a church, it could be Lions Club, but in Rotary, we see a world where people get together and brainstorm ideas to make lasting change. This lasting change is very important because every change we make needs to be sustainable. If today we feed someone, this person may not be hungry for a day or two, but if you don't provide this person with skills to make sure this person can sustain him or herself, then all this, what you do is not sustainable. So being sustainable and make lasting change is very important. And this change, when I see is, it's globally, you can make global changes when you do project in India, in China, in South America, also in our communities. But most importantly, it makes lasting change within ourselves. So what I say this is because my daily life, I never stop learning. Everything that comes to me, you know, I don't know a lot of things, so I need to learn. So in the city business, you learn a lot about what's important, what are the signs, but in a volunteer world like Rotary or Lions Club, or in your school, if you belong to a club or a service, whether it's a service club or it's robotics, you are facing, what do you face? You face organization skills. You have to be able to organize an event in order to make things happen. And you face communication skills. You have to be able to interact with people in order to make things happen. So those skills you learn not in the classroom, but in the world where you're part of an organization, a club that doing project, is what you're going to bring with you to life. That's going to make you a part of your community and be successful. When I mean successful, I don't mean making a lot of money, buy a big house. I mean being part of the community. When you walk in Cupertino, I feel the city owns me, I own the city. This is my sunset, this is my sunrise, these are my streets, these are my restaurants. And you have that feeling because you're part of it, being part of the engine that drives your life. So when you ask me what do I do every day, I take care of myself. Even when I'm really busy, I still find time to binge watch TV, sometimes for 2 or 3 hours a day. And I always have time for friends to have breakfast, lunch, or coffee. But I always take care of my emails, make sure the communication stays. If I have a project, I make sure they go forward. The most important thing is about partnership. You cannot do everything yourself. You have to partner with other people, and you have to empower other people to do their job so that together you create lasting change. So when you ask my daily life, I do a lot of emails, I eat very well, I try to exercise a little bit, and I try to meet with friends for coffee or play a round of golf, once a while. So taking care of yourself, make sure you're happy, because happy persons make happy things happen and make things done. And also being busy is okay. A lot of people say, actually, things are mostly done by busy people. So I do have a lot of things because I joined Rotary, and I'm actually going to be Rotary District Governor next July for a year. That's 62 clubs, about 4,000 Rotarians, and also the city business. And I belong to three or four other nonprofits as board members, and I also support almost every nonprofit that I could find in our community. But the important thing is, do one thing at a time. I'm here with you, so my heart is here with you. For this hour, I'm sharing our experience together. But the next hour, I might be doing something for the city, read next Tuesday's paperwork, and then ask questions of staff, email them. Then I'll do that for a couple hours. When I'm doing that, I don't think of anything else. So do one thing at a time and organize your life so that you know you're going to get things done. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. And I had another question. So you mentioned that from in your field, you learn a lot about like organizational skills and working with other people, right? And is there anything else that you've learned over, the last years?
Yes, I truly believe that people talk about leadership, right? What is a leader? The leader, if you ask anybody, oh, leader gets things done. The leader makes major decisions. But what I see leadership actually is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of the people in your charge. Because if you take care of them, you encourage them to do their best. For example, you're a city manager, right? You have 6 major departments. You have public works, you have community development, you have information, you have 5, 6 different, you have service, road service, this service. Can you do it yourself? No, but you have your department head. Then the department head staff. What you do is you take care of them. You make sure they get good service, you make sure they have good pay, and you make sure they have the skills to do what they do, and they empower them to do their job, and you are there to assist and make sure it's done. So if you take care of them, then they will take care of their business, their job. That means they're taking care of you. So I consider leadership, this is not my word, I read it somewhere and I thought about it, and I thought that's really true. Leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of the people in your charge. When you take care of them, they will come take care of you. So that's what I learned in about almost 30 years of community service and being so-called leader. I guess when you're elected official, people think you're some kind of a leader, right? When you are president of the Cupertino Rotary, people thought you as a leader. When you are, going to be district governor of District 5170, they think you're a leader. But right now, I'm putting my team together. I'm empowering them to do what they do. But one thing leadership needs to remember is you find talent, you encourage them and support them to do their best. But you find where they do their best. And that's what leaders do. They find talents. Because if Chris, you know how to cook, but I'm going to put you into managing a database, that's not going to make you successful. So look for the quality that the people in your organization and put them where they belong, where they can thrive. But also have this learning mentality. We're always learning. If we stop, say if I stopped 30 years ago, I think I knew enough. I wouldn't be able to do what the world is here today. So we got to continue to learn. I think leadership, find talents, encourage them, take care of them, and continues to learn with them. I think that is very important.
Could you give me like an example of one of the projects you've worked on over the last couple of years?
Okay, let me think. Okay, so for example, I always tell people that I don't know anything because a lot of things I really don't. What do I know about project? What do I know about? Okay, so 11 years on school board, we passed 3 major bonds. And so we modeled almost every high school, Fremont, Cupertino, Lynbrook, Monte Vista, and Homestead high schools. We started with the field. And then we go to the cafeteria. Then we go to the gym. Then we go to, how much I learned about old buildings, constructions, tunnels under the Homestead campus where you can find all kinds of things. So that is a major learning experience. That made me understand how complicated a construction is. It's not like you have a site and you do it. It starts with ground. You have to clean the ground, make sure it's not toxic. It starts with design. It starts with coordinating with all stakeholders. What does science teachers need? What do cafeteria people need? So that kind of learning opens up my eyes, saying that one thing of every project is, it is not a single-minded thing. You have this concept, but it doesn't mean you want to do it, it happens. You want to do it, you need to seek all the expertise from other people. And the coordination is put them all together to make sure that it fits everybody's perspective. But on the way from design to construction, there are so many change orders, because when things happen, it changes. It's not what you, sometimes it's not what you think. So if your parents or your adult have ever remodeled a kitchen or a home, you know that in the process, you got to be able to adaptable. You got to be able to change and make different positions. So what I learned is, on all these years of service and doing things together, we need to be always on a learning mode, and always be adaptable, and always be willing to change. And those three things are also qualities of being a good leader, because a good leader recognizes things are not fixed. Okay, things are fluid. Things can go. Actually, changes are almost always changes for the better. I think in this world, especially, some people who are more set in what they do, changes are very hard for them. So what we want to open up people's eyes is, like, take a picture. When I was running for council, I took a picture of Cupertino 50 years ago, and I showed to people, said, do you want our city to look at this now? They all said, no, I don't want that. So I said, we're here now. If I can show you a picture 50 years later, would you want our city to be just like this 50 years later? Probably not. So this is a way to tell people that changes are okay, and changes need research, need to look into the future, but changes are always, almost always for the better. But while you're changing, you need to adapt. You can't be just said, this is what I want to do. A tunnel vision is never good for anything. So what you really want to do is open your eyes, make a lot of friends, and learn different things, even though there's not interest to you, but you will find interest in it once you get to know it. So this is what a child, actually one of the teenagers shared with me. He actually hated a certain thing, but his parents forced him to learn it. But once he became so good at it, he found that he actually loved it, because he said, I learned to do it well, then I learned to love it. So for all the teenagers, and you're still growing up, be open-minded. You can say, oh, I hate that, but opportunity comes and you have to learn it, because you can learn to be good at something and then love it. So this person actually took that and became his career. And he said if his parents did not force him to be good at something, he might not discover that he actually loved that thing. So be open-minded and start to learn a lot of things. Once you learned a lot of things, then you find what you really love to do. And my advice to you is go deep. You can have 10 subjects, right? Go take 10 APs. But if you find two specific or one specific area you love to do, go deep on that. Be the best in that field. You don't need to be best in everything. You can be average or even poor in something, but if you're excellent in one or two things, that is where you shine. And that's where you bring your confidence. That's where people see you. So be open-minded and go deep. That would be my two advice to you in your journey. Your life's journey is so, you're just starting your life's journey. But also another thing I would share with you is you are good where you are now. So I want to share this story. This is a little bit off topic, but okay. So if you come to my house, I did host teenagers in my house When I was school board, every other Sunday they come to my place, we talk about things. And the first thing a new student came to my place, I would tour my house, right? You'll see my bedroom, they will see my wedding pictures, and they'll say, oh my God, Mrs. Chen, my husband's last name is Chen, you look so great in your wedding pictures. You know, I told them this is true. The day when that picture was taken, I was unhappy. I thought I was too fat. I thought I should have lost 5 pounds. I was so unhappy that day. But today, when I look at it, I said, what was I thinking? I look so great. This is the lesson I want you to learn. Be happy for who you are, because you're good enough. Of course, you can always better. You want to open mind, you want to learn, but you are good enough for who you are now. Okay, be happy of who you are. Don't be like me. Right now, I'm thinking that, what was I thinking? Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to shift the focus of the webinar to like high schoolers and how we can find like volunteer opportunities. So do you have any advice on how high schoolers can find volunteer opportunities in the community?
I'm sorry, find what? Say it
Uh,
again.
Volunteer opportunities in their community.
Yes, they are actually plenty. For any high school, you have a lot of clubs, right?
Yeah.
And pick what you like to do. And if you can find something, start one. Okay, that's very important to start one. And if you want to service, I know almost every high school has a Leo's Club that's sponsored by Lions, Interact Club that's sponsored by Rotary, and Key Club, that's a nationally recognized volunteer organization. However, when you do volunteer, I heard a lot of kids say, oh, I need volunteer hours for, you know, my college application, this and that. That's true. And when you go clean a creek, like this yesterday, Cupertino City has a Clean the Creek activity in collaboration with a creek cleaning organization. And you go there and the pride is, wow, you clean the whole street of creek. You feel really proud of it, right? Do what you love to do, join volunteer activities. But what I encourage to do is be in that power to champion a project. So in Rotary, I'm back to Rotary because I'm a big Rotary person. In Rotary, Cupertino Rotary has 215 members. When every member comes in, what my advice is, we have 5 avenue of service. I mean, 5 different avenue you can serve. Youth service, international service, vocational service, and community service. Pick something you love to do, but champion a project. Find what you think your school needs to improve. Find out what you think your city needs to improve. And if nobody's doing it, champion it. Find an adult, say, this is what I like to do. Would you, how do I go about it? And then champion a project. So I always encourage a Rotarian to champion a project, because there's always something you see in this world around you that can do a little bit, make somebody a little happier or make the environment a little cleaner. So champion a project is very, very important. So find that passion, find that interest. But if you don't have one, you can go along with a lot of service. There are plenty of service opportunities. But one advice I would give to all of you is be part of that community. So for example, if you go to a party, you walk into a party and you look around, you see buffet, you see people talking, but you don't know anybody. You feel lonely. That's because I think maybe it's your first time, maybe you haven't built up that relationship. Okay, so I'm very happy to be here to share my experience, but because I can proudly say in every nonprofit fundraiser or events, if I walk in, I always know some people. That's because I invested a lot of time into my community, into our community, and do partnership with a lot of people. So I probably would never feel lonely in a party, but you could, when you start, feel very lonely in a party. It's a party, but you feel that you're just by yourself. And it's very hard to start a small talk with a group of people you don't know. So in school, when you are in a club, when you are doing volunteer work, talk to people, make connections, and be part of that organization. So my advice is don't belong to 10 organizations. Belong to 1 or 2 where you go deep. where you get to know the leadership, where you volunteer to be a treasurer or take notes, volunteer to do a project, to purchase things, be part of that organization. And so that it makes yours, right? When you invest a lot of your time, your passion, it becomes yours. So instead of the organization owns you, you also own the organization back. So again, my advice is don't do too much, but pick 1 or 2 or 3, go deep. So you're not lonely, you're part of that organization. And then start to take charge. Don't be afraid to take charge. But once you take charge, you got to follow through. Because if you say you want to do this and then you don't do it, next time people are not going to give that to you. Or people will say, oh, he or she doesn't follow up. We can't have her, right? So go deep and own something and champion some projects.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, another question popped up in the Q&A. Someone asked, what advice would you give to your younger self?
What I give to
Your younger self.
oh, my younger self. Yes, I could have given myself a lot of advice to my younger self. So when I grew up, people couldn't believe it. I actually was very introvert. I would shake, my legs would shake if I have to make a speech. Okay, so I did not. Okay, so my younger self, I think I could have done more in reaching out to people. I was very, I'm always a happy person, so I'm pretty oblivious to other people's suffering. So I think with my younger self, I would spend more time listening to people. Instead of going from club, I belong to a bridge club, the speech club, the skating club. I did belong to a lot of clubs. And so I think my advice to my younger self is my advice to you. Don't chew too much, but go deep and truly listen to people. I think when you're listening to people, they're going to listen to you, and you will need that support. So always be that person who listens, no advice, no criticism, just a hug and saying that I'm here for you. So I think that is very important. That's where I grew up. I think I could have done more. So actually in my college, I have maybe 10 really good friends, but I couldn't remember a lot of other people's names because I didn't pay attention. So I would think that do a little bit more, less about yourself, but more about someone around you. I have been doing that. I think I've learned that. And so I've been more actively being that person who just listens. And so I always advise even adults, have someone in your life other than your parents or your husband, wife, or your significant others, someone that you can really say things to, and that person would never criticize you or would never give you advice. That person would just sit with you and said, everything's going to be fine. I'm here for you, and it's okay. So be that person for someone, or find someone in your life. But I know we're talking about a lot of mental health issues. Cupertino City just had a Cupertino yesterday, and it's concentrated on mental health for teenagers. Even adults needs that kind of just sit together, have coffee, and just talk nonsense. Part of we need that care, right? Is that tender, loving care that we need. So find someone in your life that you can share. Either someone can listen to you or you can listen to. And I think that's what I would give my younger self, to not rush so fast, right? Slow down a little bit.
All right. There's another question from the Q&A. So how does someone stay motivated after experiencing failure when they're looking for opportunities?
Okay, failures are so common. So I can give you major failures in my life, right? Actually, I ran for city council 2018 and lost. Right? And, my mom was like, "You lost." I said, "Mom, I always tell teenagers it's okay to fail. The failure is part of it." So even I lost, I'm still active in my Rotary. I active all my nonprofit. I support the community engagements. So I was always still invited to almost every function in the city. And people look at me and say, why are you here? I said, I don't know. I got an invitation. So even when you are lost and you know it hurts, I mean, it's a public lose, right? It's like, I'm sorry, the Chinese Americans is very particular about their face, right? If you lose something, it's like you lose your face. I'm like, well, it happened and that's okay. I'm still happy myself. I'm still want to do whatever is good for the community. I don't need a title to be able to do what's good for the community, right? With the title, with city council, yes, you can do more. You can make policies. But without that, I can still be part of something really good, an engine in this community. So I joined, actually, I joined a couple other organizations. I joined the Chamber's Asian American Business Council and started to do things like we work together on the night market, on the Chinese Lunar New Year, on education seminars. So I find things to do that is meaningful. So even if you fail, I know it's very hard to fail, but that is life. And also you learn something from when you fail. Okay, so this is it. A successful person is someone who fails and does not give up. You're never going to be successful if you have never failed before. So failure is okay. I know it hurts, and also don't let it become depression. So that is very important, because depression, mental health actually affects your physical health. It is a health issue. Okay, it is accumulated poisonous or unpleasantly in your mind that affects your body, affects your function. So make sure it's prevented. Mental health to prevention is the #1 most important thing. When you feel you're falling into a dark tunnel, find a way out by having someone you can trust or having called a hotline. Okay, right now, I'm really happy that the California State Department of Education required every school with your student ID in the back have hotlines so that you know those are people who care. They're trained to care. Those are anonymous. You can text, call, and just get help. Just spill out your failure, spill out you're so depressed, and find that outlet, right? Parents sometimes are good, but parents sometimes are not helpful sometimes. I'll talk to, I love to talk to parents how to support your teenagers, right? Parents always want to give you advice. When you fail, when you are so depressed, you really don't want to listen to advice. I told you so, okay? You could have done this and this and this, okay? So I remember one time my older boy was in high school. He was so upset, came home, and I said, I told you so and so. And you know what? He threw his hand on the wall and the wall has a big hole in it. He said, Mom, don't you know I know? You know what? I back up right away. Oh yeah, he knew already. Why am I telling him that? Right? But it's hard for a parent to pull back. So yes, failures are okay. And you will feel bad, depressed, and you feel you're not good enough. But dig yourself out of it. Get back to the community and do what you love to do. That's how I behaved. I did in the 2018 to 2020. Then I ran again in 2020. I got elected. But I was always thinking, if I fail again, what would I do? I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still going to be a Rotarian. I'm still going to help the high school foundation fundraise. I'm still going to help the Historic Society do things. I'm still going to help the chamber, do events and be part of the community. I'll be okay. And so you'll be okay too.
I was just curious. I kind of want to go back to how you majored in English, but you then transitioned into political science. Like how
Okay.
yeah,
So
how did
here,
you
yeah, I'm really not a politician. Okay, I always say local school board members and city and council members are politicians of the heart because we're so close to the parents, students, and residents, right? So how did I become a politician? It really was like, okay, so when my kids went to school, I volunteered at the PTA, became PTA president, did shadow project, this and that, school site council. My concentration was on creating a better environment for the parents, for the kids. It's more of a selfish, actually, motivation, right? But then you become a little bit broader because you don't just take care of your own kids. You take care of other people's kids. on a selfish level, still, if this other people's kids are good people in the world, it makes the world a better place for your kids too, right? But when I have that broader realization that, oh, this school is mine, but it doesn't just belong to my kids, it belongs to all the children in this community. So that broadens my service. So in 2007, when someone was elected to the school board, resigned, when you are kind of known to be a volunteer, people come to you and say, do you want to be applied to be a school board? I said, huh? What is a school board? I've never heard of a school board member. And as active as I was a parent, was PT at Preston, I did not know about school board members because I guess our school was running well. You never have to go top to find, to complain. So I said, huh? Who are the school board members? They said, don't you know they give your kids diplomas? I said, huh? I thought the principal did it. No, the school board actually has to rectify and graduate kids. They're the ones out there to hand diplomas. As active as I was as a parent, I did not know. So I I got in touch with every past and current school member in 2007 I knew. I sat down with them and said, tell me, what is this? What is a school board member? I knew nothing about it. How could I apply for it? They all tell me, you have a good background already. You know how school runs, you volunteer, you interact with students and parents and teachers. You got the basics and you can learn on the job. And school board is to make policies about what courses to put in, or what are the ground levels, or how do we provide learning opportunities for all kids with different learning skills. How do we get scheduling? How do we take care of teachers, of salaries, make sure they have, they can survive where they teach, and work with the administration to encourage them to do physical health, make sure the money is used where it belongs to. And listen to that. Oh, I guess I could do it. So I went for the interview. Out of 10 people, they chose me. That's how I became a politician. And it was a learning process. You talk about learning. It was a learning process. And I learned, for example, I guess one of your parents would complain that I wanted my kids to take this math class, and there are only 20 kids in there. Why can't you put him or her in there? Well, I'm sorry. The school district comes with the union's agreement is the whole department divided by how many teachers. Each classroom can only take, say, 32 students. So if the whole department is full, this class might have 20 kids, the other class might have 35, but we can squeeze one child in there, because squeeze into that department means you're going out of contract, and you have this contract agreement with the teachers union. So if this class has 20, there's another class of 32. So it's a combination of department students in each department, not in each class. So that's when you learn at the policy level, and you can explain to the parents why we can't let your child take another math class or another science class. So that's how things that I continue to learn for 11 years there. I'm very proud to say of that 11 years, we made some major policy changes. On coaches, we used to have just random coaches walk on. Now we have coach training, and we relieve the vice principals to check out sports teams and evaluate those coaches. But those evaluation, when you want to you have to relieve something, that means money. Then you need to negotiate with finance, negotiate with teacher union. So it's not that you want to do this, it happens. You got to coordinate. You got to have all the pieces fall in place. That's, again, what I say, when you are volunteering or when you're doing something, be a leader, take a job. Say, I want to be a secretary. Secretary, you have to make notes. You have to be very organized. You have to give out notes. I want to be a treasurer. You have to have income and expense statement. You have to do all the receipts. I want to be a membership drive. Then you have to think about what activities will draw membership. How do you attract membership, right? So you want to take some leadership position in order to learn how to do things. So I became a school member in 2007 until 2018. I learned how to be a school board member, how to make policies, how to make changes gradually. Now that we want to do this, then it can be done. No, we usually try to empower the teachers to come up with ideas that fit our school culture. Okay, so that takes some finesse. You try to plan this idea, and let the teachers take charge because they're the one who really do charges. So being in leadership positions train you and give you that sensitivity, that leadership to make things happen. So that's why I say go deep. Okay, take 2 or 3 organizations and go deep in it. But support others when you have time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't really have any more questions. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or say?
I really want to say just 2 things. One is every one of you is really good enough for people who truly love you. People who truly love you will never really be disappointed in you. Sometimes they might not say it to you, like your parents, but they want you to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, just because they want you to have a good life, because those are professions to make you money. You don't have to worry about it. You never have a job. But if you want to decide to be a politician or a teacher or an artist, they'll still love you, even though they're not going to encourage to do that. So think about that. Same thing when you think of your parents. They are as precious, feel precious as you are, actually probably more. They have to make money. They have to make sure you go to school. They have to make sure they provide the extracurricular opportunities for you. And they're under so much pressure to provide you opportunities that sometimes you might think they are unreasonable. Because one parent actually asked me a question, said, did I provide enough opportunities for my son to be successful? Because she wants him to be in this team, that team, do this, do that. I said, hey, slow down. Okay. First, I think you're providing a lot of opportunities already. Second, let him pick. Let him pick and choose. So parents are under this tremendous pressure to provide opportunities for you to be successful. And so give them a little leeway, okay? But they'll love you no matter who you are. They really are. So for people who criticize you all the time, they're not, if you go deep and ask them, it's not probably what they meant, okay? They just want you to be the best you could and have a good life. A good life really doesn't mean you have a lot of money. It really means you're surrounded by people that make you happy. Okay, so think about, reflect on things that happened to you that you were really upset. Step down and think about it. You can find out that, oh, maybe I shouldn't feel that way, right? So give yourself some room, give yourself time to grow. And one last advice I want to give you is, a lot of people say we only live once, right? True, we only live once. This also, I think maybe a picture from Snoopy. Snoopy says, no, we only die once. We live every day. Which is so true. Every day when you wake up, it's a day that you can be yourself, learn and make friends and be successful. So value every day. I know some days you're going to go to bed, think you're a failure, you're such a worthless person, everybody else is better than you are. But when you wake up, it's a new day. You only die once, but you live every day. Take every day as a day that given to you so you can be loved and love someone else. And I want to say, I am willing to be that person in your life that you need a voice, you need someone to hear you. I'm willing to be that person because I've traveled far. I've traveled to Fremont or South San Jose to listen to a teenager and just sit there and listen to them. Sometimes I found out just that 1 or 2 hours listen would make that person feel really good. Okay, so I can write down my email address and my phone number. You can always call me, text me, say, can you meet for an hour? Can you listen to me? I'll do that. And I promise I'll never give you advice or I'll never criticize you. But if you want advice, I'll give you some, but I really try not to give advice. So I'll put my email information in the chat. Oh, can I do that? Oh, Chris or Elaine, maybe you share my contact information. I don't know if I can, oh, maybe today. Let me see if this goes through. Okay, is that, can everybody see this? Or just a panelist?
It's okay. I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah, send it off. It's if you guys want to chat with me, meet up for coffee, and you said, oh, you know, I really want to share this with you, I'm more than happy to be that your ear. And I love to make friends. So and life is all about really making friends, because when you walk into your community hall, you walk into an occasion, you're not by yourself, and that feeling is really good.
I think these are most of the questions we have prepared. Does anybody else have anything they want to put in the Q&A really quickly? Can everybody see the email now? I believe I sent it to everyone. Okay, good. Yes, so everyone can see it now. Since we are nearing the end of our hour and I want to let everyone go as promised at 4, I just wanted to say that I was really inspired by some of the things you said, such as taking care of yourself first in your day-to-day life. That's one of the most important things, and also going deep and finding your passion, because a lot of high schoolers nowadays, they try to do everything so that they can cram a lot of things onto college apps. But if you find something that you're passionate about, then down the line you will be more happy once you find what it is that you like. And then also being a leader and championing your own project. Don't follow other people. If there's something that you see, change it if you have the opportunity to. So it's almost 4. So I'm just gonna quickly wrap it up for everyone so that we can let everyone go. So now quickly before we end, if you're interested in joining our team and earning volunteer hours with us, you can learn how to join our team by visiting our website under the Join Us page, and the link is also there, but you can find our website. And I just want to say thank you everybody for coming out and supporting us. And I would like to give a special thank you to our wonderful speaker. Thank you so much, Hung, for your insightful seminar. I definitely learned a lot from what you were talking about. Thank you for going so deep. And everybody, well, hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you again at our next event. If you would like to kind of rewatch this and hear what she has to say again, we will be posting a recording of this on our website, which you can check out as well. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.